Yeah, welcome back to our channel. Yeah, today we just have some issues to touch on very fast and briefly. So it's a reflection on, or a recap to what we tried to talk about the previous week. I mean, on the awakening of our minds and self-consciousness as far as our political development is concerned, and that we should stop looking up to the West because whenever we are trying to carry out any electionary activities in any part of Africa, the first thing that we hear from the West is trying to lecture us on how to, you know, carry out the elections peacefully and what have you and things like that. But from history, we should know, or we're supposed to have learned from the past histories to know that these people they never mean well for Africa. They have never done that before. Neither would they be doing that now. Whatever thing that they are doing it for their own selfish interest. Rather, if they see the best man that will definitely lead a country in Africa to greatness, they will never allow that person to be. So we have so many examples to cite from. So this is not about, you know, Bula Blue and what have you and beating around the bush. We should, at least we should know by now who these people are. They are scavengers, like the vultures, looking for corpses to feed on. That's what they are. Nothing else. You cannot compare them to any other thing. That is just what they are. For real. So forget about every other superficial beliefs that they make you to over the years. You can still pick yourself up from there and move on. Stop looking up to the West because the West cannot do without you, without Africa, without our resources. If they are getting it for free, they are not ready to pay for it anytime soon, except you actually really wake up and shake them off. So that's the only thing you can do. So let me take you back to memory lane, maybe to refresh your mind once more.
They caught him on his way to Stanleyville and flew him back. Patrice Lumumba securely wrote. And with him were men who served in his cabinet when he was Prime Minister. They were bundled into a heavily guarded lorry and driven off towards a place called Binza. Lumumba had been under house arrest, protected by UN troops in Leopoldville, when he escaped. His recapture was quite a triumph for Colonel Mobutu, who now saw his enemy arrive. Lumumba's bonds are tightened. They were taking no chances. And his wife and child watch his humiliation. The whole affair, of course, serves to underline once again the conditions prevailing in the Congo. It's not enough to arrest a man. He must apparently be beaten up as well. Then put him on trial later, no doubt. As for Mobutu's troops, they yelled and danced with joy. They had won a great victory. They had got Lumumba after trying to lay their hands on him for months.
So that was an elected president or prime minister, as the case may be, as at that time, Patrice Lumumba. So if you still remember the story of Patrice Lumumba, this was a man that fought and won independence for his people, which is now the Congo. It was there called Katanga, you know. So this man was seen as an enemy of the West, generally, not because he was an enemy of the West. First of all, they saw him as a threat right from day one, right from the proclamation of independence. after making his independence speech, right from that very moment, they saw him as a threat because the U.S., America, was getting their uranium and what have you, and a lot of natural resources from Congo as at that time, and Katanga, which is now Congo, as at that time. Like for example, the uranium that was used to produce the atomic bomb that was that was used to stop the Second World War in Hiroshima was gotten from there. So likewise, so many other minerals. So Belgium was then in charge of Katanga. If you get the point now. So this whole thing that was coming from um, Congo, I always say because I'm still trying to get used to the word Katanga. You know, as at that time, you wouldn't just expect them to just let go of those things just like that, just because the so-called superficial independence has been proclaimed. You understand? Because these people they actually fought for their independence, without spilling too much blood as at that time. But as soon as they got the independence, then the Belgian and the Europeans, the France and all the other Europeans, criminal gangs, then they all got involved and tried to see how they can destabilize his government by whatever means, whichever means. So before you know it, then a breakaway region came out from the south, which is in fact the rich the richest part of the country then as at then, which is the Katanga itself, you know. So I think Katanga was the capital then. I don't know, So the southern part of Congo then break away from that, from the country. Why this man was the actual, he was the actual prime minister. So he was trying to reunite the country back. I tried to, make a deal with the breakaway region and what have you, because those breakaway region was actually supported by the Belgium and the Americans, because that is where they got their uranium from and all their mineral resources, most of them, chunk of them. So they use that one to try to destabilize this man. So with that, then the Belgium now have a foothold again to come back into Congo again. It's like they are trying to save the country back from the break of civil war and what have you and things like that. So they use that one as an excuse. So this man went to the U.S. and to the UN to beg them that the UN should please intervene to try to save his country from plunging into the a deeper civil war and things like that. So they refused to do anything about it. So he went to he came to Europe, to France, because France was playing neutral as at that time. So he went to France again to do the same thing. Then France said, "Oh, their hands are tied; they can't do anything." Meanwhile, they were the ones instigating this whole thing. But like the normal African man, we always want to believe then that these people they believe in democracy and things like that because of the way because they were speaking with both sides of their mouth. You know, they will be the ones saying, "Oh, democracy, this and this," but on the other hand, they want plundering of your resources by whatever means necessary. So you see, to cut long story short, because I want to make this thing very brief. To cut long story short, they deposed this man. Then at the end of the day, then another government came in again through a coup, because when the other man was not, maybe he was not fast enough to do what they want. Then they brought in another person again, in the name of Joseph Mobutu. So Seseko. So that one came in again. Then the America gave them their legitimacy stamp. The same thing with Europe and the UN. Before you know, then they said this man was under house arrest. Before you know it, they grab him, and then throw him into the, Mobutu's prison. Let's say Mobutu's prisoner for that time. Then again, when they saw that that was not enough, then they said, okay. Then they wrote another this thing again, another telegram again, that they should send this man back to the south, which is the Katanga region, where his enemies are. And why the Belgians and the US and the West were calling this man a Satan, you know, with all the powers he had then with the media with the media and everything, they were calling him the Satan, a satanic human being. You just understand that because they already brainwashed these people with the Christian religion. Then at the same time now calling this man the Satan. You understand? So they were seeing this man like a satanic figure as at that time. Before you know it, then they grabbed this man, took him, and to fire squad with his prime ministers and with his yes prime minister and other cabinet members, shot them like common criminals. In fact, this man was humiliated, with his wife present. His wife and child were there watching. They just stood there. So that's what they always do, especially if they want to humiliate all these African top leaders like that. So they humiliated him while his wife was standing watching, watching his husband being tortured. Then they push him inside the vehicle, inside the truck, and drove him away. Then after killing this man on the firing squad, then the next they just buried him on buried them, you know, like mass burial on one shallow grave. Then after some 24 hours, they came back again. The Belgian people came back again, took this man away to another 200 kilometers away, hack him to pieces, then dissolve his body in acid. You see how barbaric these people are? In acid. An elected prime minister. Dissolve him in acid. Then they came to Europe here with all their media and stuff. Then they were propagating that something happened, that the people were that the Congo people were the ones responsible for this thing, that they so hate this man that they have to kill him. That they mob him. This was a mob system that killed him and stuff like that. They were saying all kinds of lies everywhere. And some people bought into this whole thing. But why they have some kind of pact that they sign with people like those leaders, political leaders, then that this thing should not be, the secret should not be let out. That no one should ever utter the truth. I mean, let's say utter a word of the truth to anyone. So they were trying to manipulate the truth. So after so many years, then the truth finally came out that, on how this man was killed. So in fact, some of the Belgian, one of the Belgian police that killed this man, or that was there when they killed this man, took what do you call it, a teeth. It's like a souvenir that he took with him to always remember what they did on that day, because to them it was one of the biggest achievements of Leopold, which was the king of Belgium at that time. Look at the teeth. This was one of his golden teeth that was took, just like what the Nazis did during the Second World War, the extermination camp and things like that. You can just compare this with that. The barbarism was there. So what I'm trying to say here is that they have never changed. They still remain the same. So African leaders should open their eyes and stop all this begging system and touring the Europe and the rest of the West, hoping that one day, salvation will come from nowhere or from the Europeans. It's never coming, because if they can take your land from you any day, any time, they will take it without looking back. So if they can finish every black man on the surface of the earth just to take their resources from them, they will do it. They will do it. They won't think twice. All they have to do is to go to their so-called parliament, and do their meeting there. They say, okay, let's vote. Once 80% vote or 60% vote, I say, yes, let's finish. That's what they call democracy. It doesn't matter whether whether they are about to commit crime, or they are about to commit suicide, or commit, whatever it is. They have been like that. They can never change. So anything they're just doing now, they're just rubbing oil on your lips to make you feel like you are eating or you are living fine and stuff like that. Then don't stop deluding yourself, because sooner or later you soon find out either you, who is the president now, or a prime minister now, or whatever thing that, or your minister, soon and very soon you will find out, because you get to your turn, either because you are looking for something, through them, or when you've expired already with your office. Now that you are occupying now, and you're asking for something, then you get to them, that's when they will show you who they really are. So, but now that they are running to you to ask you for something, they are very polite. But when it's your turn to ask for something, then you know, then they show you their true color. So think and think twice. Do the right thing while you still have the chance to do that. Correct, correct things while you still have the time to do that. And stop looking up to the West.